companions, welcome. I found this tree with this nest. Now, the tree is a Marula tree, and as you can see, it's a beautiful, big, deciduous tree with a rounded canopy. It's got this whitish trunk, which is almost like marble, slightly flaky, and it's very conspicuous because of its size and its bright color and its presence in the bush. They are very versatile trees. One could find them in almost any tree biome. In this case, you can see it's mixed in with mopani and other thorny species like buffalo thorn and knobthorn and jackalberry. So the tree is not only versatile, it's also a very valuable tree on the African savanna. The leaves are utilized by almost all browsers, including elephant and giraffe, which can reach up to the top almost. And the bark is also utilized by elephants. They break it with their tusks, and then they tear it off and they chew it. Now, I've found Marula trees completely stripped of bark by elephant. And of course, then, unfortunately, they die. The bark is also used by local bush people to make an extract, and they take it for diarrhea and also as an anti-inflammatory, apparently. I have once tried it for diarrhea, and my diarrhea went away, but I'm not sure if it was because of the extract. The roots are also used by local people when they get into trouble with water in the bush. They dig out a section of root about 1 meter long, thick as a man's leg maybe, and they clear one end of the bark, and then they hold it with the cleared end pointing down, and water will drip from it, enough for 1 or 2 mouthfuls. The fruit are very interesting. They're a little smaller than a golf ball, and they ripen into a pale yellow, and they have a kernel inside, and around the kernel there is a fibery mush, and one can actually bite a little moon into the skin and suck out this mush and the sap, and it has a pleasant sour-sweet taste, to me at least. The fruit is used by bush people to make a kind of alcoholic beer, and the fruit also finds its way into the modern world, where it is used to make a liqueur, and they also make a jelly from it, which is apparently extremely high in vitamin C, much higher than oranges. The kernel of the marula it's hard, really hard. You have to use a stone or a hammer to break it open. And it has 3 holes in it, and inside the holes are the seeds, something between a peanut and a sunflower seed. And each hole is sealed by a little trapdoor. And once the seed is dropped, either by an animal that had eaten it, or the flesh is rotten away, then these little trapdoors open when there's enough rain and moisture, and the seed germinate. So really interesting, like all things on the African savanna. Fascinating how the tree has adapted itself to be able to survive the drought over longer periods. Now there's a bush legend, as in urban legend, that animals will eat the fruit and get tipsy from it. The story is that the fruit fall down, lie in the sun, and then they start to ferment, and of course the sugar is transformed into alcohol, and then the animals eat it and they become tipsy. Now, I'm not sure if this is true, because in all the many years that I have wandered the wilderness, I've never ever come across a tipsy animal, even in the full fruit time of the marulas. The fruit is, however, utilized by many animals, especially pigs and elephant and so on. but the sugar content is low, and the amount of alcohol that it can produce is very low percentage. So it's very unlikely that any animal would be able to eat enough of the fruit to become tipsy. So the nest is of a bateleur eagle, pronounced deleur in French, and it means performer or street performer. The bateleur gets its name from the aerial acrobatics it likes to perform, singly or often in pairs, the male and female together. Now perhaps our French companions can enlighten us a bit. And here's a picture of one, which I got from Wikipedia because I didn't have a nice clear picture of one. I hope they don't mind me sharing it with you. They are probably one of my favorite eagles on the savannah. They have these beautiful colors, probably the brightest colored raptor on the African savannah. They're very distinctive when they fly too, because they've got these black and white lines underside of the wings, and pinnacle feathers bend back slightly and turn up a little at the ends, and they've got the short tail, so it's easy to identify them from below. They like woodland savannah, not too dense, because they hunt from the air. They want to see their prey, and they prey on small mammals mainly, rodents, mongoose, rabbits, and ground squirrels, but they will also take snakes. Some people call them a snake eagle. They will also take birds, doves mainly, and they will take fish, especially barbel. Now, barbel is a kind of fish that you find on the African savannah. They like slow-moving water, and they often get caught in pools when the rivers dry up in the dry season. And as the water evaporates, the fish become visible, and they're then taken by the bateleur and other raptors back to the eagle. Now, of course, they have got excellent eyesight, like all raptors, but fascinating to me is that they can also see in the dark, and they hunt at night, especially in the early evening. They are monogamous and highly territorial. The male builds the nest, and they will reuse the nest year after year. Companions, I hope you enjoyed this piece about the Marula tree and the bateleur eagle, and I hope you'll join me again next week. Good luck.